Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIII. So yeah, Lightning kind of ditched us.
Okay.
So
technically, they went on ahead. We just took a break.
Well, but that's the thing. That's the thing that, like, Lightning being a military person, she should know that that key to survival in this situation is to stay together because of force of numbers. You know.
Look, she's gone. Let's just, enjoy ourselves.
But that's the thing.
That's a thing.
I was too quick for Dale.
All right. Hold on. Let Deji say.
Again, when we find out how she was, though, it doesn't make any sense why she would have that mentality. Also, I guess Hope went ahead with her because it's just Saz and Vanille. And again, mind you, at this point in the game, yeah, I'd rather take the company of Saz and Vanille. Again, at this point in the game. Oh, don't get me wrong, Saz will stay fine pretty much throughout, save for a few stupid moments later on.
We'll get to that, Java. This time you'll be able to actually tell what you want.
Honestly, that's the thing. It's sad. Even the best characters, Saz and our last playable character, who is as of yet still unnamed, even with the best characters, they still get some pretty stupid moments in this game.
Yeah.
Mind you, they don't compare to the level of terribleness with the other characters, but they are still pretty bad.
So yeah, in the previous part, we expanded the Crystarium by defeating a boss battle, so let's get some more skills for our characters.
So, just to recap, we have a story that you need a Wikipedia to constantly stay up to date with, unless you want to wait until the game gets to the point. Most of our characters are pretty terrible or stupid. The plot has pretty much kind of just been a random pile of cards, essentially, placed from point to point.
Was it?
To knock down so we can put back up.
I have yet to understand what the... Okay, aside from let's pretend for a moment that I haven't played this game before, okay? I have yet to understand, Java, what the plot even is. We're just roaming around at random so far, it seems.
Pedro, don't you know the plot? They're pros Lessees, enemies of
Cocoon. Yes.
Okay. This is kind of my point about the plot being a stack of cards that are piled up, but then knocked down, as they're clumsily tried to be put back together into a new one. See, at first the plot was find Sarah, or whatever Sass was up to doing, that was going to be the main thing converging. Well, we found Sarah, and now our plot is to figure out the plot.
And survive, yes.
Yeah. Figure out the plot and survive it. And you know what? Maybe that can make for an interesting mystery or whatnot. Well, the joke's on you if you think it's a mystery. Because
basically, but ideally, but the execution is another matter. Hold on.
End of the road.
No shit.
At least it's not the end of the line.
Could have been praised a bit better, but sure.
I mean, it must not be. Lightning somehow got ahead there.
Ah, crap. Sorry.
Alright, now it's a perfect time for a flashback with specifically related to Lightning? I don't understand.
Even though we were playing as Saz and Vanille.
This pacing is weird.
Do you guys have a time? I pressed the wrong button.
Go to 4.
Let's say 359.
Okay.
So to be fair, the flashback does technically start with Vanille.
Well, that's just all of them were under this specific fireworks, Jova.
Of course.
Because Toriyama and Kitase love their motherfucking coincidences involving our party members.
Alright, and go.
Okay. So day 11, the seaside city of Borneo does. You actually didn't miss anything. You just missed Vanille doing her stupid end gesture. I don't know what the hell it even means.
I guess it's supposed to be a praying gesture or some kind, tricolor culture.
Alright, so here's how...
pretty much all the cutscene had to do with Vanille. Now let's go to Lightning.
So this is actually... we were talking about... Jova was talking about this earlier. This is actually the opponent. We actually get to see what Lightning was before this all started.
Wishing on fireworks, were you? You call yourself a soldier.
What does being a soldier have to do with, how does how do those two things conflict?
But I really don't think guard duty is my calling, sir.
Well, lucky for you, your shift just ended. Pack it up and go home.
But, sir...
SciComm found something in the vestige nearby.
This?
The Guardian Corps.
No. He means the Pulse File C, Dwebs.
Yeah.
It's an enemy. It's an enemy of Cocoon.
Yes.
Yes, of course.
Now it has the SciComm
There you go.
Tizzy.
Yeah, again, here's the confusing thing. There are multiple different factions of the same army in something. Not always unheard of, but they're all
Like division, not
so this
not
game
too
follows-
not so dissimilar for the Shinra Defense type
Well,
branches.
no, it boils down to the fact that 7 conveyed those things. This story is very poorly told and very poorly written, so it's easy for the player to get confused.
Not to
So this
mention
game
they're all
follows-
under the term of soldier, because 7 did that.
Whatever. Trust me. For the purpose of the story, all you need to know is that they're the military. Trust me. They're not that important. Go on, Dibs.
So this game follows Hot Fuzz logic, where they call things incidents, not accidents.
Yes.
Oh look, guys! A few days before the incident, Lightning was all looking pretty for a promotion and told to think about.
And by the way, this guy is Lightning Superior. This is his one scene in the entire game, and guess what? They figured this was enough for him to get an optional boss battle in 13-2 for reasons that I have yet to understand.
He's called Amodar and he's voiced by Dave Wittenberg. Fair enough. The guy is voiced a lot of characters and he's still doing these days. I'd say that he works better as Kafka's voice actor, let's just say that.
No. Anyway, Hope has access to the Synergist roles. Synergists play a supporting role in combat, using their abilities to enhance and strengthen themselves and their allies. Basically enhance defenses with buffs like Protect and Shell, or here, if you want me to put it in Kingdom Hearts terms, the Arrow spell from Kingdom Hearts. That would be the buff that game has, basically.
So, if I may, unless you want to read this bit.
No, go ahead.
So, yeah, what do we get from that cutscene about Lightning? Well, yeah, she was definitely one who was up to code here and there, but notice she doesn't really act cold and stoic there.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a bit robotic, but nah, if anything, she seems to be overall a fine person here and there. Nothing to suggest the cold soldier here and there. And yes, some could say that, oh, it's because of the incident that she became that cold. Remember, though, this is all happening within days of all this stuff. It's not like it was of a month or a year over time here and there. Now, contrary to what some stories may tell you, a lot of people don't just instantly change like that unless they've been brainwashed or something. Which you could make a case around Lightning Returns, but we're not playing Lightning Returns.
Speaking of that, Amodar is a lieutenant in the Bodham Security Regiment and was Lightning's direct superior. Climbing his way through the ranks with persistence and hard work, he is respected by his subordinates for his fair treatment on and off the field of battle. Militant regulated monster hunting falls under his jurisdiction, but aside from a few warnings for the sake of formality, he generally turns a blind eye to the group's earnest efforts, aka Snow's rebel group. So
this is perfect. His fair treatment on and off the battlefield. Now, what do we have from the story to suggest? Lightning definitely looks up to this guy. So logic would dictate that she was also caring for her soldiers too.
That's a good point.
We're later going to get scenes that pretty much point towards that. But yeah, like I mentioned, we get scenes that she cared about people. So in the span of a few days, now she's to the point where, Saz and Manil will catch up. Even though they totally can't do the things I can do athletically, and it's a wonder Hope was able to keep up with her at all. Not to mention, if I recall correctly from our original playthrough, we literally get a dialogue saying that she would willingly leave Hope, the kid, alone defend for himself if she could, essentially.
Okay.
I don't get it.
The basic gist of it is that there was, this all started with that incident of people reporting, oh, there's something weird in the Bodham Vestige. Turns out it's a Pulse Fal'Cie, so let's purge everybody. That's basically it.
Also, I don't know, but the fact that we already know what that was really makes that scene feel even more worthless, honestly.
It's more so the fact that scene, okay, like you yourself said, Joe, but that scene supposedly was to showcase how Lightning was before this all started. Again, do what I said before, show her in a neutral environment where she's not under pressure or under trouble, where she's living her normal life. The problem is that the pacing of this game is so stupid, it decides to only show us this now, and it shows us so little. It just shows us one brief scene that only gave us like a minor insight that is not enough, and we don't. And combined with the fact that we know when we figure out what's going to happen after that scene, which is where she's finally going to have her birthday party with, where Sarah's going to give her a specific present that we'll see later, it makes Lightning's reaction to the fact that Sarah is LSC completely out of nowhere. Like, we don't really see. Okay, like Jova said, like, yeah, she comes across as a stoic, but still fine enough person for what she is. But then she literally goes from one extreme to the other for some reason later.
There's also one particular problem attached to this. We never seen how Lightning actually acted as a Psychom enforcer, before the events of the game. We only see her in this particular occasion and for her birthday party, essentially.
Not only that, we don't even see what she was like before becoming a Psychom officer, which I think really would have helped out.
This is something that the data log tells you, but this is basically has been an entire life, because the whole gimmick with her and Sarah is that their parents are dead.
Well, yeah,
So,
the game. Sorry.
Lightning had to act as the surrogate parent for the both of them, and this is also why she has this kind of not humor changes, but this kind of rough, potential side to her, which is showcasing here that she has literally nobody else and nowhere to go, and she's stuck with a bunch of people she doesn't even like.
It's more so that
we don't get to see what her actual life as a military enforcer was. If we actually get to see how her actual reaction would have been to actual other lessees, I get the idea that the basically confusion and actual self-hate that she's having now, which we see also later that she's experiencing, would have feel at least a bit more justified.
Not just that, the problem.
Kind of a thing, because remember, during the very opening of this game, we actually do get a tiny snippet of her commanding some soldiers doing something. But that's more or less it. It's
not even just that, Teo. The primary problem... yes, we do learn that from her, because later on, Lightning is going to explain that past of her parents dying and she had to grow up sooner so she could take care of Sarah. The problem is that we never see any of this. She just tells us in dialogue.
Oh yeah, that's what he said. We should have seen more of that.
It's literally the same problem I have in Legend of Korra, where Mako is all like, "Oh, but don't you see? Me and my brother were orphans. We had to fight to survive." Okay, that's cool. Can we see this in a flashback like we did in Last Airbender? No.
I guess not. Also, not to mention that, I actually have a much better idea for how the story could have been carried out here. As cliche as it could have been, what if this game started not at the time of the Purge, but actually at the time with the heroes literally gaining consciousness after being branded as a fal'Cie? But, and hear me out, they did not remember that here and there. And before you ask, yes, we do get confirmation that some victims of fal'Cies can later also lose their memories under certain circumstances as well.
Yes.
I can distinctly remember there are sexual stories that do have this kind of structure that you mentioned, but I can't for the life of me remember a specific example.
That's a thing, Jova.
Sorry, go on. Here's my idea. Imagine the characters wake up and they don't know exactly what they're doing, but they have something of a vision here and there. And then they have an idea of what to do in a quest. They see this girl encased in ice. Snow doesn't quite remember, but he feels a weird connection with her. And so does Lightning, but in a different way, essentially. So they set off on their journey and are absolutely dead set on doing this. Little by little, things start to make more sense to them. They feel that they know what they need to do. When suddenly, bam! It turns out that they were branded by a fal'Cie, which is an enemy of Cocoon. And what they've been doing this entire time is technically the villain's plan. Essentially, you've been playing as bad guys despite how jovial and charming the Venturous felt up to that point. That's your way of being
so basically,
Java completely eliminates one of the aspects that this game wants to tackle, as in have a bunch of people who don't know each other and that they don't like each other having to literally become friends by the end of the game.
Well, that's just basic character development in general too. I think the best.
To be fair, my amnesia idea does kind of cover the idea of them not knowing each other. And if you want to have them not like each other, then sure, have them come to blows. Just don't have it be as hostile as this game. It's like, I do get that that's part of the point, but with the way some of these characters are hostile to each other for little to no reason, it really just makes the game feel icky. Like, look, you want to have characters be at each other's throats, that's fine, but there more or less needs to be at least something of a strong logical reason here and there. Hope having a beef with everyone makes no sense. And what's weird is how, of all the people he chooses to latch onto, it's Lightning for some reason. Like...
Well, to be fair, Saz was the one who told him, I'd stick with her if I were you. So Saz suggested that he would do so.
If anything, though, shouldn't Hope have latched onto Saz? Because if anything, I feel like Saz has probably been the closest thing this group has to a proper leader.
Oh my god.
Who, thinks of stuff rationally.
You just made me think, what if the pairings were reversed? What if Lightning had to put up with Vanille throughout this part of the game? Well,
He probably
I'm sure the sheep and pancakes fuel will arise.
No. Lightning will have pushed her off.
Have I missed any mention of the enemies of...
No, don't worry, Dwibs. Don't worry, Dwibs. I'll make sure you don't miss one. But
yeah,
no, it's one of those things where yeah, Joba does have a good point with that suggestion. I think yeah, it's one of those cases where the game doesn't really know. The game knows what it wants to say. This is a story about people defying fate, and we'll see for ourselves when we get to it. The problem is that again we do know set fate. Okay, we know the fate technically, but we don't know what we have to do to defy it. That's the problem. Go on.
If I may, I feel like the game made a bit of an error in opening up during the Purge, because the Purge feels like something that in some ways could feel like the final level of a game, essentially.
Cutscene.
And I get it. Wow, Lightning didn't even break a switch. Is that cool?
Mm-hmm. No, this first game desperately wants to sell you hard on Lightning's coolness.
Which is weird when they kind of forget about that in the last act. But you know what? We'll get to that when we get to that.
Missions. Nothing to do with the Purge, though.
The Purge is SciComm's baby.
That's poor wording, but whatever.
But aren't you a member of SciComm? Okay, to be fair, they're about to explain here.
Known as SciComm and the Guardian Corps.
There you go. She's Guardian Corps. She's not SciComm.
I was Guardian Corps, Bodum Security Regiment.
Wait,
I was first class. Oh, sorry, wrong script.
Then why did you board the train?
For Sarah.
Alright, so let's see let's see how Lightning boarded the train that we saw at the beginning of the game.
Saz,
yeah, along with Saz as well.
You can actually spot him in the crowd. It's like, where's Wald?
Well, it's kind of hard not to notice him. I mean, I mean, with his afro, he kind of stands out.
Even his costume too.
Will be returned upon arrival.
Teo, remind me, does the game ever explain what those robes even are?
They are basically the way that the Sanctum has to identify potential suspects of being the sea.
I guess.
We will actually see them being used later as well, Pedro.
No, I get that. It's just that.
This op's under SciComm direction.
So direct me. Let me on. I want to be purged.
So.
She wants to be part of a Michael Bay movie?
Only civs
Ma'am.
are purged. Sanctum staff and soldiers are exempt.
Oh, how
Then I
convenient.
quit.
Line up.
That was fast.
To be fair, he actually did give us an honest-to-God chance rather than just, accepting it blindly.
And Saz gets curious about her gesture and he wants to ask her.
Excuse me. Hey, lady. What gives?
I volunteered.
Really? You don't look ready to go quiet into that good night.
You want quiet? You better take the next train.
Ooh.
Well, now I really want to see.
And the rest is essentially history.
So there you go. Saz tags along because of curiosity, basically.
I also
biggest mistake of his life.
I also just love how the soldiers, the Psychoms, are not completely suspicious about that this guy had to relinquish a pair of pistols that he had in holsters in his actual legs.
Man, Lightning's hair texture really aged badly. I mean, Hope's hair looks fine, but Lightning's hair, when we watch it close, it aged really badly.
That's crazy. I could never do something like that.
It's not a question.
See, it looks fine from this distance, but when you close it up,
Probably also combined with the intense lighting.
Easy for someone like you to say.
It's again the testament of how difficult this engine had to work, combined with the already difficult architecture of the PS3.
Bye, Hope.
Why then?
She does that a lot.
I mean, okay, in this case, I can understand Hope so moany why they get.
You see, this is another thing, by the way.
Like this: two wrongs do not make a right. Like,
Yeah.
All the.
Don't you mean a light?
This is actually one of the things that I really, after this game, this joke. Okay.
What are you up to? Hey.
Well, this is a
Yeah.
okay.
No peeping.
Well, to be fair, she has her skirt. It's not like you could see anything in that perspective, anyway.
Well, apparently the chocobo chick thought he was peeping since it blocked his view.
No, I get that. I get what the joke is, but with that skirt, you wouldn't be able to see anything anyway. Anyway, so as all this just roll.
Guess to be fair, given what we learned later about that chocobo chick in 13-2, maybe the chick was trying to protect
There's also
her honor.
well, okay. I can mention that another time. The major difference when it comes to being synergies is that Sans excels more in abilities that buff your attack power, while Hope is more specialized in your defense.
Can I have a time, please?
Go to 22.
Alright.
But, yeah,
Okay.
I feel like the problem with opening up during the purge scene is like, well, how to put it like, Okay, imagine if, per se, you had a Lion King movie that literally just opened up with, like, you know, the part where Simba...
Alright, go.
Part where his dad dies.
Maybe something like that. Like, okay, look. I'm not gonna say, like, the opening up where everything is going to hell and then getting to where we got to that point is fine, but imagine if, per se, we were doing, like, you know, just something that's randomly plopped into the middle of the plot here and there. Only, instead of, you know, that, it's actually placed near the beginning of the plot. It's like, Purge feels like it's supposed to be a big turning point. The problem is that it's placed right at the beginning of the game, so it doesn't feel like a turning point, which it would probably work better as, and instead just feels like an awkward start to things. So then we awkwardly get scenes shoved in before showing what stuff was like before here and there, and really do much of the plot, and as a result we open up with a very, very chaotic opening when you get down to it. Terms just thrown at us without us being able to understand them, characters just coming in and going here and there, and a major character death in Hope's mother, who we don't know enough about, and mind you, the game won't even really give us cutscenes about her to help us care about her in retrospect. She was literally just meant to die to make Hope mad at Snow
Hope's mom,
in the most idiotic way possible.
Hope's mom is not a character; she's a plot device. It's like.
So where am I getting? Oh right.
It's like.
Moms are tough.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's like her one major line. Moms are tough. What the hell is that even supposed to mean in the context? Really?
Yeah.
She said what she means. She's a mom and she's tough.
Again, like I said before, why'd she say that to Snow without even explaining that, oh, I'm a mom? Because as far as Snow knows when he first meets her, Hope isn't around. So, for all he knows, she's just saying that moms are tough. Or...
well, actually...
You know, it would have been better if he says, I have a kid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You see, Jova, that's when Dej brings up a good thing, Jova. Hope's mom does have one major character trait. She's stupid. You know, because instead of saying "get my son home" or look for my son and get him home, because she had plenty of time to say it. She didn't have to just briefly mention just 3 words. Like, with the time it took for Snow to finally drop her, she had enough time to at least say the words, "My son is called Hope, please get him home." She could be able to say at least that. But no, she just said, "Get him home." Yeah, because he's totally going to know what that means, who to look for with that sentence, right? It's just vague for the purpose of conflict. That's all it is. Because Toriyama and Watanabe have to write it that way, because if they don't, the story wouldn't work. That's the problem. Like, it's just...
So back to my thing, though. I mean, honestly, how more interesting would it have been to learn about the characters more so leading up to the purge that, you know, then leads with them to where they are at that point? Okay, you know what? Actually, even better point. What if, say, Final Fantasy VII opened up with literally, you know, the falling of Platform 7 onto Sector 7, essentially? We'd have pretty much no idea what was going on if it pretty much functioned the same way it did story-wise there. Because, see, that point had build-up to it. Yes, even in the original 7, there was enough build-up to it. Because that's what the Purge feels like. The Purge feels like you literally ripped a scene meant for a later or earlier moment and put it there. And surprise, surprise, it doesn't work.
So as for Daisuke Watanabe, I've been looking at his page on the Final Fantasy wiki. You started in Final Fantasy X as a scenario partner along with Toriyama. Then the same for 10-2. 12, both of them were collaborative efforts. Was a scenario writer for Dissidia. And then he was the lead scenario writer for this game, and was the supervisor for Dissidia 1-2. Then did the same scenario lead writings for 13-2, Lightning Returns, and Mobius Final Fantasy. And as of now, his most recent work has been a scenario advisor for the Zodiac Age 4 and 12. Yeah,
that's because Watanabe was basically one of, along with Nojima, he's one of Square Enix's go-to script writers, basically. And like you yourself said, the Dissidia games prove that he can do fine. It's more, again, much like Nojima, it's something with Nojima, like, we have to remember that Watanabe and Nojima are not creatives, they just do what the creative in charge tells them, but let's cut scene first.
Also, hold on.
Let's just say there's a bit more on the Wikipedia page, but I'll get into it later.
Hey, Hope, how were you able to keep up with Lightning just fine up until this point while they struggled behind?
He still hasn't climbed up.
Please calm down.
Oh, no. I get that, but how was he able to keep up with Lightning earlier when she was doing all that agile stuff that brought her ahead of Sass and Vanille?
Because reasons, Jova. Reasons.
And mind you, I know it's gameplay, but gameplay-wise, he can also do some weird acrobatic stuff, too.
So, Sherry, is Vanille starting to get on your nerves?
Starting?
Honestly, Hope's getting more on my nerves than she is.
Yeah, I mean, again, look, I said Vanille will have her time, but
Also,
for now she's
time for his flashback.
Yeah. No, the reason I'm asking Shiroi is because in the original run, you seem to just kind of like, she's just happy, Pedro. So.
That was called sarcasm.
Sure, I guess.
Is a bit hopeless, yes.
Okay, look.
Well, have any of you made that joke yet?
Go on, Joe.
I'm gonna have to agree with Dwebs, though. Again, like I said, Vanille will get her time, but up to that point, at most she's been trying to get people motivated. Has she been a bit underhanded with it at times? Yes. But her, as far as we know at this point, her actions have mostly been for positive reinforcement.
Hold on, Joe, I have to point this out. That Hope says here.
Daddy issues.
No, that's the thing, too. Yes, this scene implies that he has daddy issues, but later, those daddy issues just mysteriously disappear later on and never get resolved. So, Chekhov's gun that doesn't shoot. Go on, Joe.
Oh, do the daddy issues even have to do anything with this plot? Well, with Hope's plot in general?
Well, I generally have the feeling, Joe, that it was cut out at some point. Don't worry, I'll explain when I talk about the development of this game. Go on.
I do wonder if
Hold on, Edge. Go on, Jova.
I do wonder if the idea was going to be that maybe Hope saw a bit of his father in Snow and was projecting his hatred of his father onto Snow, in a sense, but that probably got tossed up by the wayside.
What do you know about that, Saz?
Foreshadowing. But you know what's interesting? Georgia Van Kulenberg, the actress who plays Vanille, she says that she loves Vanille's legs, and she says, and I quote, I'm not kidding, that this is what she actually says. Like, I'm kind of attracted to her, and I like men, so.
I mean, sure.
I mean,
She does have nice legs, though.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I don't consider that creepy because Vanille's a boy.
Oh no, I'm not saying it's creepy. I'm not saying it's creepy. I just find it funny. She literally says, "Oh, I'm kind of attracted to her, and I like men." Like, I just.
Alright, so I was
I
gonna
guess
elaborate.
you could say that Vanille's kind of hot.
Okay, I should elaborate a bit on Watanabe. His actual Wikipedia page goes to a bit more because the Final Fantasy wiki just does Final Fantasy stuff. He was involved in Threads of Fate, 1999.
Yes,
game.
one RPG, one of the ones that I mentioned that never came out of America.
And over the Final Fantasy, he's done stuff with Kingdom Hearts, like 1 Chain of Memories, 2 that PS2 port of Chain of Memories, 358/2 days.
Yeah. No more used them a lot for Kingdom Hearts too.
Basically, almost every Kingdom Hearts game up until Recoded.
Also,
Anyway.
I have no idea what that last credit when it comes to Zodiac Age is for, because there are literally no new added cutscenes in that version. So, like, why crediting for a role that did not added literally anything?
Wait. Which game? Which game are you talking about?
Zodiac Age.
Oh, Zodiac Age. Well, I'm guessing too, also because of the localization of whatever elements from the Zodiac Age Japanese-only version that weren't. That's probably it. Go on, Dej.
No, you were saying, Jova, you want to ask me something?
Right, so I'm guessing you find Vanille hot.
Yeah, that's a good character, though.
Sure.
Trust me.
Trust me. I mean, Lightning is hot, but she's a terrible character.
Also, Dej, there's one party member we haven't met yet, and I can assure you, as soon as she shows up, that's gonna become your go-to waifu for this game.
You were gonna tell me? You were gonna ask me something, Dej?
I was gonna say, Pedro, are you telling me that this game's plot is poorly written?
I'm not just implying, I'm saying it is. No, actually, allow me to, I can say that better. Hold on, Dej. I took offense to that. I did not imply that this plot is poorly written. I flat out said that this plot is poorly written. Okay. There you go.
So before we go, Jovi, you were saying about the Vanille Hope comparison?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Right, I agree with Dwibs. Like, Vanille will get her moment, but at least up to this point, what she's been trying for is positive reinforcement. Hope at this point literally is in the might as well die camp, and I kept being depressed, but it's to a point where he ridicules anyone else for being so much as, not wanting to die. And I do get the feeling that maybe that's because he chose to latch on to Lightning of all people. Bad decision, and she didn't help. But all the same, though, Hope's just been more annoying with it. And yes, I get it. Grieving teenager, but there really does come a point where it just becomes annoying. The idea is to, yes, confirm that it is a problem, but you don't constantly just hinge on it and immediately think that's brilliant writing.
But that's just the thing. That's just the thing, Jova. I'll also say that, remember, allow me to remind you that Hope wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for Vanille. And yet we never, at any point in this game, ever addressed the fact that Vanille dragged Hope into this mess.
Again, she technically didn't drag him, manipulated him into it. That doesn't really make it much better. But again, all the same, yes, like I said, yeah, she is not completely blameless in this. However, she can at least say she's done more for the group than Hope. And that's the thing. Hope still let her talk him into it because of his stupid hatred of Snow here and there. Like, let's not forget, yeah, she manipulated him, but the reason he let himself get manipulated is because he has this stupid hatred of Snow, because, he thinks Snow is responsible for his mother's death when that couldn't have been further from the truth.
That's the thing, Jova, and I will bring it up, and I even used a clip from that game as well. And will become more obvious when we get to a specific scene between Snow and Hope. Snow is the Chloe of this game. Sorry, Hope. Sorry, Hope is the Chloe of this game. And he also does the whole "I gotta blame somebody" thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
See you for the next part, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.